Hello and welcome to today's video, which is about migration and borders. Here we go. People have many reasons for migrating. War, poverty, freedom, better opportunities, unite their family, climate change, better lifestyle, and others. Usually, they are divided into two. Firstly, push factors. Second, pull factors. In simple English, this means firstly, reasons to leave where you are, push factors, and secondly, reasons to choose where you're going, pull factors. Push factors come first and are stronger. Why? Because you don't choose where you're going until you've already decided somewhere to go. Things are bad, like poverty or war. People sometimes decide to leave even though they don't know where to go. Leaving is hard. You might be leaving everything you have ever known. You might be leaving people that you know and love. You might be leaving people that talk like you, dress like you, eat the same things you do, have the same religion, celebrate the same holidays, play the same sports, and support the same teams. It's so hard that even in very difficult situations, most people decide to stay. Think about the Karen situation. Fighting for 70 plus years, being attacked at home, losing everything you have worked for. In spite of all these things, and all the people who have gone to Thailand, more people have stayed than have left. So the push factors have to be very, very strong. For Karen people living in Pa'an or Molamine, they would rather live under the Tatmadaw than leave. That's how strong. The other proof that push factors are much stronger than pull factors is from looking at the same place in different times. For example, Syria, where refugees have been flooding into Europe to escape the fighting. Before the fighting started, the number of people leaving was much lower. The pull factors alone were not strong enough to make them go. The biggest pull factor is having family or other people you know living in the country you choose. Or even just a community from your home country, even if you don't know anyone. That's why Karen people going to the USA choose Minnesota, not California. So, how are trends in world population affecting migration? In the introduction video, we said fertility rates are dropping almost everywhere except Africa. That now includes both rich and poor countries. Until recently, that wasn't the case. The pattern used to be that rich countries had low fertility rates and possible falling population. They handled that by allowing immigrants from poor countries to settle in their country. This kept the population topped up. Now that fertility rates in poor countries are also dropping, the push factors, reasons to leave, are weaker. The pull factors, attraction of the destination countries, are still strong. But as we've already seen, push factors tend to be more important than pull factors. So as push factors weaken, we may see less emigration from poor countries. That could give the rich countries a problem. If they can't get as many immigrants from poor countries, their populations may start to drop. At the moment, rich countries can be very picky about who they allow in. For example, they may only allow skilled workers or workers that they need for their economy. They may insist that an immigrant can speak their language. If people from poor countries are less likely to come, we could see rich countries competing to attract immigrants. They might be less picky about who they take. It's not hard to imagine Australia, the USA, and Canada competing and even offering special deals to attract highly skilled immigrants. In 2022, Canada welcomed over 1 million new immigrants. Its population is 38 million, so 1 out of every 38 Canadians has lived there less than 1 year. If this continues, after 10 years, about 1 in 4 of Canadian residents will have arrived in the last 10 years. History tells us that when the ratio of newcomers to existing population gets high, there is a backlash from the existing population, especially when times are tough. Comments like, they're taking our jobs, or they're pushing up the price of houses, start to be heard, and political pressure to reduce immigration gets stronger. If the fertility rate of the existing population is low, they need more immigrants to avoid population falling. The lower it gets, the more immigrants they need, and some of them don't like it. They are faced with difficult choices. Firstly, have more children to stop population falling, or secondly, accept more immigrants even if they don't like it, or thirdly, allow population to drop. My pick is that they will allow population to drop. Why? Because it's the default do nothing option. If they can't agree what to do, the population will fall. Also because as falling population becomes normal in many countries, governments will work out how to live with it successfully. As we have seen, there are some big pluses from lower population, especially for climate change. The problem with lower population is not where we get to, but problems on the journey. How will we handle the changes that it will bring? How will we manage things until a new normal begins? We will look at some of the likely changes and their effects as the course continues. Now, I want to look at borders. Borders are a very Western idea that was introduced to the rest of the world in colonial times. Before that, countries were defined by where their laws were obeyed. This could change from time to time, depending on how strong the governments were. So in this picture, each country has its core area, which is light blue. But at the edges, there are areas darker blue that might sometimes be part of one country and other times be part of a different one. For example, if Thailand is weak and Burma is strong, the area with side-to-side lines will be part of Burma. If Thailand is strong and Burma is weak, the same area will be part of Thailand. The same could also happen with the dark blue area between Thailand and Cambodia. This applies to areas like the Thai-Burma border. The area around Mae Sot is a long way from the governments of Thailand in Bangkok or Burma in Naypyidaw. At different times in the past, when the Thai government was strong, it was part of Thailand. At other times, when the Burmese government was strong, it was part of Burma. Borders were not always in the same place. Even in Europe, fixed borders with passport control of people and goods crossing the border only dates from the mid-19th century. The boundary between Canada and the USA wasn't agreed until 1846. In fact, the move to fixed borders was partly caused by the need to define the areas of influence of different European powers in other parts of the world. For example, in Southeast Asia, the British and French agreed to which areas they would influence. Britain's was Burma, Malaysia, and Singapore. France's was Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. They needed borders to prevent fights about it. For most parts of the world, and most times in the past, people have been able to move across borders without too much trouble. The current situation and the outlook is that borders will come under more and more pressure. We are already seeing this in flows into the USA from Mexico. Most of these migrants have already crossed other national borders in South or Central America without problems to get there. European borders are also coming under huge pressure from migrant flows from the Middle East and North Africa. Climate change is likely to increase the number of migrants. Predictably, some political parties in the receiving countries are taking up anti-migrant positions. The huge demand to enter European countries and the USA is creating suppliers who are happy to meet that demand so that they can make money, whether it's legal or not. And this also causes a problem for the destination country. As we have seen with drug trafficking, when there's a lot of money to be made from an illegal activity, illegal businesses will be attracted to it. These businesses can be very effective and well organized. For example, governments have not been able to stop the drug trade. Governments hate these illegal groups because, firstly, they can't control them. Secondly, they defeat government laws, in this case controlling immigration. Thirdly, once these groups are well established, they often expand into other illegal activities like drugs, gambling, human trafficking, or the sex trade. Fourthly, if the government can't stop their illegal activities, other people will be encouraged to do the same illegal things and get a share of the rich profits. And fifthly, once these illegal immigrants are across the border, they are still not legal citizens. To work and do other things, they or their employers have to break other laws. Another illegal route for migrants is known as overstayers. These are people who enter legally for a fixed period of time. When the time expires, they are meant to leave, but some don't and stay illegally. This is not easy to stop. Firstly, the receiving country usually badly needs the migrant workers because there are some jobs that local people are not willing to do. These are often, but not always, agricultural or construction jobs. For example, California uses a lot of migrant workers from outside the USA to pick oranges. Once they're all picked, the workers have to leave. The same happens with workers from the Pacific coming to New Zealand to pick kiwi fruit, or with workers from Indonesia coming to Malaysia to pick tea. In each case, the local Californians or New Zealanders or Malaysians don't want to do that work. The countries using the migrant workers have a problem. They can't do without them. The industries where they are used need the low-paid seasonal labor that locals don't want to do. They have to use them, but some of them become overstayers and don't leave when they're supposed to. An example of this happened in Mesot area in the period 2008 to 2011. Starting in 2008, the economy of Thailand and other countries was very bad. Thai workers were losing their jobs and couldn't find new ones. Politicians said that Thailand should stop welcoming in migrant workers in places like Mesot because there weren't enough jobs for Thai people. The Thai government then told companies in Mesot who were using migrant workers to stop doing that and send them home. They also made a lot of speeches about how they were helping Thai workers. In theory, this would have created jobs for Thai people, but they didn't want these low-paid jobs, long hours, and bad working conditions. The factory owners had a problem. They had no one to work for them. The migrants had gone home, and the Thais didn't want to work for them. They explained their problem to the government. The government had a choice. If they ignored the factory owners' requests, the factories would close and Thailand would stop making things like cheap clothes. This would hurt the Thai economy. Or they could let the migrant workers return. That is what they did, but no speeches this time. They didn't want to upset anyone or look like they'd got it wrong. This shows that countries need these migrant workers, and so they have to accept the risk that some of them will become overstayers. If the number of illegal residents in a country gets too high, it becomes a problem for that country. It encourages an illegal economy, often called the black economy. This black economy is made up of illegal migrants for workers and businesses who break all the rules for bosses. They often don't follow rules for safety, minimum wages, when they can sack you, or basic freedoms. Governments can put up with a small black economy, but they don't want it to get too big. They don't want to attract big players who would create an area they control where the country's laws are ignored and the big players make the rules. To stop this happening, governments often have amnesties from time to time. An amnesty is an opportunity for illegal residents to become legal citizens with normal citizens' rights. The USA has had amnesties in 1986, 1994, 1997, which was an extension of the 1994 one, and 2000. Opponents of amnesties say it encourages illegal migrants, which is true. Supporters say it stops the black economy getting too big, which is also true. This is a summary of how the 1986 USA amnesty was agreed. This is a quote. The Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, the IRCA, was enacted by Congress in response to the large and rapid growing illegal alien population in the United States. The final bill was the result of a dramatic compromise between those who wanted to reduce illegal immigration into the United States and those who wanted to wipe the slate clean for those illegals already living here by granting them legal residence. As enacted, the IRCA included a massive amnesty program for two main categories of illegal aliens. Firstly, those who could show that they had resided illegally in the United States continuously since at least the 1st of January 1982, in other words, 4 years. And secondly, those who had worked as agricultural workers for at least 90 days between May the 1st, 1985 and May the 1st, 1986. They also tried to stop the problem from coming back. So to continue the quote, as a balance to this huge amnesty, they also included several provisions designed to strengthen the enforcement of immigration laws, including sanctions as penalties for employers who knowingly hire illegal aliens, increased border controls, and they create a program to verify the immigration status of aliens applying for certain welfare benefits. So, conclusions. We've seen that immigrants will risk death to escape from their situation. They have drowned in small boats crossing the Mediterranean and leaving Southeast Asia for Australia. With push factors that strong, illegal migration is not going to stop. At the same time, rich countries need more people because of their low fertility rate. As in the Mesot example, they also sometimes want to support industries that can only survive with low-pay workers, that offer jobs that the locals don't want. Rich countries want to control the process so they can pick the most attractive migrants, those with good skills and those who can speak their language. The record is that the migrants with those skills will use that route, but that many others will still try and some of them will succeed. The irony is that the people who successfully enter illegally have in fact passed a much more difficult test and will probably make excellent citizens and adapt quickly to their new life. If the flow of illegal immigrants dried up, it would hurt the rich economy. And this is the end, my friend. See you next time.